Hey Scorpio, welcome to my channel. This is Lotus Magic. Tonight, or rather this morning, because I think it's like 1 o'clock now, I am bringing you a different type of reading, and the theme of this reading is The Wiz. And I don't know if you're familiar with The Wiz. It's kind of like a black version of The Wizard of Oz. So if you haven't seen The Wiz, you probably have seen The Wizard of Oz. So it's along the same lines. Um, but this is like my favorite movie as a youth, and as I've gotten older and watching it again with my kids, it was like a light bulb went off, and I'm like, this movie is really about the journey of self, the journey of transformation, the journey of transforming one aspect of self into another, more true aspect of self. And so this spread is an aspect of many of the characters and situations in that movie. It's a 9 card spread, and I'm going to go ahead and get started because I'm really trying to keep my videos under or at around 30 minutes, just because it's already hard enough to try to squeeze in doing videos throughout, just during the day, because I am home with my kids all day because I homeschool. So, yeah, I'm trying to really get like structured in time um, with my videos so that I'm able to do more videos. All right, so as we know, the Wiz starts with a tornado. The Wizard of Oz starts with a tornado, and that's exactly what I'm starting with. And this is the catalyst for transformation, just like in the movie, the tornado that came whipping through Kansas, New York, because if I can recall, it's like New York in the Wiz. But the tornado that came through and kind of shook Dorothy out of her comfort zone um, was a catalyst, okay, to get on this journey of transformation. And so for Scorpios, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said earlier this reading is for Scorpios. Um, your catalyst is isolation. So I feel like right now, many Scorpios are isolating themselves. And isolating yourself for the wrong reason. And so this card represents the person who has people around them wanting to do things, but you're kind of like, no, 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 because you're not really feeling connected to the people that you're around. And so you're going into this like isolation mode. But this card wants you to ask yourself, if you really truly know the difference between isolation and solitude, because what you are considering to be solitude is truly isolation. And this isolation is coming from a place of, because this is like third eye energy, it's truly coming from a place of just not trusting yourself anymore right now. There's some trust issues going on. And it's not really like you can't trust anybody. I just don't think you're really trusting yourself fully. So instead of trying to do what you need to do to trust yourself so that you can um, come out of this isolation, you're almost like telling yourself, I'm just better. I just feel like being alone. Um, this is why I keep to myself. I'm just, taking time to myself. But what you're really doing is isolating yourself from people. All right, what is the true self in search of? This is my Dorothy card. Your true self is in search of options. You are actually in search of people and relationships that are emotionally fulfilling. So you're isolating yourself or you say you're getting solitude, but what you really, really want are people around. You want people, you want relationships. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, I'm just speaking on relationships in general, friends. You want to be closer to your colleagues. You want to, like I said, be around people, maybe even meet new people. And this could be romantic too. But you're not going to be able to do that if you're isolating yourself and your true self. Okay, not what you're presenting to the world. Your true self wants to be amongst people. Okay, you're searching for purposeful relationships of all kinds. What the mind is in search of, this is my Scarecrow card. Your Scarecrow card, your mind is in search of making your wish, manifesting. Your mind is really trying to manifest people. But it may be your mind that's blocking it. You have this vision of what type of like friendships and relationships you want, but are you really, is it just in your mind, but you're not willing to quite take the action to do it? But it's good to start it in the mind. It's good to visualize these types of relationships in your head, but you're going to have to get to the point where you start to take that action. And of course, that's going to come with healing, and we'll talk about that. But your mind is desiring and trying to manifest like relationships that are just good for your spirit. Okay, again, 17 is a manifestation number. So you're trying to really manifest, relationships. And again, relationships that are purposeful, emotionally fulfilling, that make you happy, being around people that make you happy. Being around people that you can trust. And we know that Scorpio just naturally has this slight paranoia about people, especially new people, but even like people that they've been around. There's this defense that Scorpios tend to have as it pertains to like relationships, and it can result in either you're not sharing yourself openly with others, or you're trying to control the relationship, because in your mind, if you control the relationship, then you can control the outcome that you don't want to happen, which in turns makes that happen, right? Because no one wants to be controlled in a relationship. No one wants to be controlled in a romantic relationship, friendship, work relationship. No one wants that. And so it pushes people away. All right, the 10-man card. What does the heart want? Sorry, I snack on salad, so I've got pieces flying. But what is the heart in search of? Scorpio, your heart is in search of building, learning. Your heart is in search of, because here we have the 8 of coins. And this is like a building a skill card, building a mastery card. I feel like your heart is in search of wanting to learn to build the skills of having relationships with people, building the skills to trust. Like you want to learn how to trust, because you know deep down in your heart that your inability to trust is hindering your ability to have meaningful relationships. So you really, really want to build that skill. And you just need to follow your heart. Okay? You need to follow your heart. Like your heart, your true self, your mind and your heart are on the same page. Okay? Now you just need to get your lower self to the same page, if that makes sense. Because it's really like your lower self that sets up all these roadblocks to keep you from really manifesting what your higher self wants. So deep down, you want relationships. Deep down, you're trying to manifest it. Deep down, you're wanting to learn how to do it. So now you just need to do it. You need to stop making excuses and just put yourself out there. Be honest with yourself and put yourself out there. All right. My lion card, and this is what the inner child wants. Okay, in my spread, the lion represents the inner child. For that, you got the 4 of coins and you got the 2 of cups. Your inner child like really wants you to stop trying to hold on to this old programming. Okay, your inner child wants you to let go of the old programs, let go of the hurt, pain, whatever. Let go of the mindset that prevents you from coming into partnership with people. Okay, emotionally. Okay, because we can know a lot of people, but how many people know us on an intimate level? Like, think about your relationships. Are you emotionally available and open to those that you are have friendships with? Do your coworkers really know you? On an intimate emotional level. Do your close friends really know you? Do you share your emotional, stuff? Not your everyday surface stuff, but your emotional stuff, your deep emotional stuff. And I know that Scorpios are very private people. They tend to keep things to themselves. But understand that it almost makes you untrustworthy, right? It makes you untrustworthy that I am your friend and I'm sharing myself with you, but you're very private about your stuff. It makes people not trust you. Okay, so again, that energy of trust, it's like it's reciprocal. Okay, so your inner child wants you to really like let go emotionally so that you can build a relationship with people. Okay, isolation isn't going to do anything for you. All right, my Wiz card. Now in this spread, if you're familiar with the Wiz or the Wizard of Oz, I think the Wizard of Oz, because I haven't seen that version since I was like super little. But I know that in the Wiz, when Dorothy finally makes it to Emerald City and she finally gets her chance to meet with the Wiz, they all find out that the Wiz doesn't have the ability to do anything they need him to do. He can't give a brain, he can't give a heart, he can't give courage, he can't get Dorothy home. Like, he's basically useless. And this to me represents the false self, because the false self only has enough power to make people believe that that it's powerful, but it's really not. So for this, how does the false self need to be dismantled? For you, Scorpio, the false self needs to be dismantled by focusing on building solid relationships. Okay, happiness, focusing on building relationships that bring you joy and happiness. And when you do that, you're gonna find that you don't really need to control it. You don't really need to um, worry if you can trust, because you're focusing on the joy and the happiness, and your relationships grow much better when there is air to breathe, room to breathe. Okay, because like, think of your relationships like, like plants. Plants need light, they need air, and they need water. Okay, they need light, which is joy and happiness. They need water, which is emotions, right? Clean water, good emotions. And they need air. room to breathe. Okay, so you don't need to control relationships that bring you joy and happiness, thinking in the back of your mind that at some point they're going to stab you in the back. They're going to deceive you in some way. And then you put up this emotional wall. So the false self can be dismantled only by experiencing relationships that bring you joy and happiness. And this is, again, relationships of all forms: work relationships, casual relationships, platonic relationships, romantic relationships. Okay. My Wicked Witch card, of course, Wicked Witch of the East and the West, were kind of like the obstacles. Okay. For me, it represents emotional bondage. Okay. What negative emotions are holding you bondage, Scorpio? And I feel like it's this strength. Okay. However, it's like indecision and overreacting. So this kind of reminds me of um, overreacting to situations that really don't need to be reacted to at all, because what it what's making you react this way is this, like, haha, gotcha, I knew you would, so it's like already having this preconceived notion that someone's going to do you dirty, do you wrong, causes you to overreact on things that really don't even need a reaction, right? Someone cancels on you, you go into this paranoia that, they don't want to be around you, they acting funny, or things like that. But again, because that's that control. Okay. Being indecisive with people, right? You go through periods of being in, then being out, because that negative self-talk tells you that you can't trust anybody, right? So now you're kind of indecisive on how you even handle the relationships, trying to be strong, trying to protect yourself, but you're being overprotective to the point where it causes relationships to have damage that would be really good relationships if you would just fall back and let things grow organically, let people be who they are, and let solid love grow. You'll have the stability in those relationships if you just allow it to grow instead of trying to control the outcome. All right. What's blocking your path to enlightenment? And you got quite a bit here, Scorpio. I've only done 2, but this is like a lot. 2 readings, I mean. So I got 10 of Swords, Page of Coins, 8 of Cups, 9 of Coins. And what I'm getting, like, overall from this is that what's blocking your path to enlightenment, and enlightenment for me isn't just spiritual enlightenment, okay? To me, it's like what's blocking your sun, right? What's blocking your lit path? What's blocking your ability to have these fulfilling relationships and things? And what I'm getting is disappointment. Maybe past disappointment, being stabbed in the back. Maybe you have a very, very valid reason to have this lack of trust, but you're holding on to that so tight that you're not healing from it, and you're projecting that what someone else did to you on everyone else that you meet or deal with. Okay, it's even like you're projecting it on yourself, because truthfully, it's not even people that you can't trust, it's yourself. Trust starts with you. If you're at a high level of trust within yourself, like you really trust your inner knowing, you're not going to have to really wait in the cuts to see who's going to deceive you. You're going to be able to to intuitively just know, which Scorpio, you are very intuitive. You're going to intuitively know who's good and who's bad. And you'll be able to react to that instead of, waiting for people who are good to turn bad because somebody in your past has done that to you. It's kind of not fair. Okay, and all of that is really blocking your ability to learn those skills of trusting again, which is, again, coming back to here, what the heart really wants. The heart really wants to build the skills, but what's blocking it is your past disappointments and situations that caused you to begin, feeling like you can't trust people. So you're really blocking yourself from learning this skill on building relationships, okay? Abandonment, okay? Disappointment. Like you've just had these experiences in the past, but it didn't happen because, I don't want to say that people weren't bad, but there was a part of you that really didn't trust your intuition and inner knowing, and you probably continue to have relationships with people and not following your higher wisdom. And so you got burned. And so now you learn to not trust yourself. It's just like, after being in a relationship with somebody and, you break up, they cheat, you break up, you go through a period where like, why didn't I see it? How did I miss it? I should have known. And then you're like, well, maybe I just don't know maybe I don't know what I'm doing. And so you just stop trusting yourself. And then you dump everyone you meet into that category just to avoid having to use your discernment skills. Right? So it's easier just to dump everybody in that category. That way you never have to worry about being disappointed, backstabbed, or deceived ever again in your life. That's not healthy and it's not fair. And at this point, it's doing nothing but creating this isolation, which is what you really don't even want. Okay, I also, with this Nine of Coins, is just, this keep, what's blocking it is you keep telling yourself that you're, I'm fine by myself. I'm good. I can take care of myself. I'm good by myself. I love myself, and I can be happy all by myself, which is absolutely not even the case, because again, your true self, your mind, and your heart all want something different. That's too much energy that's pulling you in another direction. And what's blocking you is all of this past stuff. Not even anything current, just past. All right, now we're at Emerald City. Emerald City represents sort of like the outcome after healing, okay? The heart, because Emerald City really is a reflection or symbolization of the heart center. After you're healed, after you've done the healing work, what is the outcome? Well, if you do the work in healing this, do the work with forgiveness. Start with forgiveness. You need to forgive those who hurt you in the past. Forgive yourself. And then when you do that, while also allowing any relationships, friendships, partnerships to grow organically. Okay? Organically meaning just with natural light, natural air, natural water. You'll find that you'll be able to then be way better at discerning who's deceptive. Those people will stand out. You won't have to, you're going to stop putting everybody in that category, and you're going to take relationships a lot slower. And like I said, let them grow organically. And through that organic growth, you'll be able to tell who's good for you and who's not, because you really begin to trust yourself again. After you've done the healing, you're going to be able to start trusting yourself again. So when people who are deceptive present themselves to you, you're not gonna respond from a place of, I knew everybody was, this is why I be by myself. You're gonna say, you know what, you're not good for me. I see that you're deceptive. I'm gonna place you over here in this category, and then continue to focus on the relationships that are good for you. Okay, healing doesn't mean that you're never not going to encounter someone who might be fake or not trustworthy. That's really not what it means. It means that by healing your third eye, healing that side of you that doesn't really trust your inner wisdom, healing that part of you is going to make it much easier for you to then trust people for who they are, good or bad. And your inner knowing is you're going to trust that part of you that knows this person's good. And then you're going to stop waiting for something to happen. Then you're not going to have a need to control relationships as much, because you're respecting the fact that people, including yourself, in relationships need light, good emotions, and air to breathe. Okay, you will have much lighter relationships that lead you to other places. You're going to have those options. You're going to be full with people around you. You're not going to be isolated, because it's not even what you really want. But you're going to have to do the work with yourself by forgiving those in the past that have deceived you, forgiving yourself for not trusting yourself, and then allowing the relationships, when you meet new people, taking it slow, taking your time, and really growing a relationship from, the seed to the bloom. And you'll be happier. All right, Scorpio. Until next time, love and light.